Hi guys, it's been a long time since I've done a talk through video, so I thought that I would do that today for a New Year's Eve look since it's just a few days away. The first thing I started with and I want to talk about is the skincare line. The first thing I did today was wash my face with the Younique Illuminate Clean Face Wash. It's really good for dry and normal skin, and it will leave your skin feeling baby skin smooth. And then after that, I did go in with Younique Rose Water, just 2 pumps in the cup of my hand like this, and then I just dab it all over my face. This is good for any acne issues, which I have had several the last few days, and it just happens. So just cover it up and go on. And then last but not least, I go in with the Divine Daily Moisturizer, also by Younique. It's fabulous for dry skin. I usually only use it once a day during the summer because my skin is more oily, but in the wintertime I do use it both in the morning, before I do my makeup, and in the evenings, just for that extra hydration. Because with the heat running, you know, it just dries out our skin. So the first thing I'm going to do today is start out with the Younique Glorious Primer. This is in the old packaging, and this just goes to show it lasts you a very long time. February will make a year since I've had this bottle, and it's only down to about right here, so I'll still have it probably through fall of next year. And I have worn out the pump, so I do have to take it out and just rub it on my fingers like this. Okay, just a little bit, and then just rub your fingers together and just dab it on. This keeps your makeup sitting on top of your skin versus sinking down into your skin and causing flare-ups and blackheads. And it also helps your makeup go on much smoother. Right, and then next is the Younique eye primer. If you purchased $135 in November, you got this for free. This will become available before December is over for purchase, and I think it's valued at $22. So just a little dab on each of my fingertips and just all over my eye. This keeps your eyeshadow from creasing and brings out an extra pop in your colors. And I am going to be using Palette 3 for the New Year's Eve look with all these fabulous purples. Okay. But I'm going to start with Palette 1 because I recommend a base color before you start with your colors of eyeshadow that you're going to use throughout the day. My personal favorite out of all the palettes is Chipper from Palette 1. You can choose any neutral light shade that you like, and we're going to buff this into our crease. And this just helps your other eyeshadows apply more smooth and blend out better. So just a little bit in the outer V and all over in the crease. Like that. It's a neutral color. Doesn't show up very much. This is a really good color if you're going to use blacks in your crease later on. It really makes the color pop. So just buff that in. And we're done with Palette 1. Now, I have no eyeshadow look planned. I'm just going in with it. I never have a look planned. I just pick a color and go with it. So I think I will put a little bit of Determined over Chipper. It's a light gray. And if you just had Palette 2, this would be the neutral base color that I would start with to help your other eyeshadows blend out. It just softens it a little bit. And you don't want to cover up your first color. You want it to stay, the chipper to still be seen right through here. I am going to go in with the shade Irate next into my crease. And just not go straight in and buff it, but just kind of dab it in the crease and then go back and buff it in just a minute. Bring it down and then do the same thing to my other eye. Just dab it into the crease. And it's always better to get a little bit on your brush first and go back instead of starting out with a lot and having to take away without having to take off everything you've just done. So start with a little and then work your way up if you need more. Next, I'm going to go in with the shade Flippant. There, it's a lavender purple. I'm going to go around the bottom of this Irate shade here, just to soften it up right above my lid. Not a lot, just a little bit. Next, I'm going to use the shade Cheeky, which is a really pretty shimmery purple. I'm going to put this all over my lid. I'm not buffing, I'm just packing it on with little tapping motions like this, because it is more glittery and that'll prevent the fallout. And it also will build on the color versus just streaking it. Just going to get a dab of the Irate and put in my outer V. Not much, just a little bit. Usually I'd bring this up to my pupil, but not in this one, just right at the corner. Now for a little bit of extra pop to my purple, I'm going to go in with the cream shadow Majestic. It's a really, really pretty purple. It's got some blue shimmer through it, and it's a really pretty color, and it'd be good for an evening out. Just right above my pupil on this one for this color. You don't want to go all the way over the lid. A lot, just a little bit, just for a little bit extra sparkle. Now I'm going to go in with some liquid liner and do the wing on my top lid. And I do use the NYC liquid liner. I still don't have Younique's. This is, but I've loved this liner forever. It will be hard for me to break. A little bit. And what I do is I start and I draw me a line up on each corner, and then I drag it back across my lid. And I am making my line a bit longer today since this is a New Year's Eve look. Normally I wouldn't make this line so long. And then about halfway down the line, I'm going to drag it back across. And then just fill it in. And there you go, a pretty wing. And I'm going to do the same for this eye. one up just a little bit more. And then you can just add a little bit longer line just for a little bit more drama. I'm going to do my brows. I did let Caitlin, my daughter, pluck them for me the last time, and this one looks nothing like this one. So I'm in the growing out process right now. Thank God for pencils to draw them in. And some people start from the high point and do down first, and I start with my inside and go up and then draw my tail. And then just fill in this gap here. And since there's no point here, I have to draw it down as well. And bring it down from the other side. And just fill it in. Go back. And then straight across the top, go all the way straight across to make a point at the end. And then bring it down. Pretty brow. I have to make this one match. This one has 0 points. So we have to draw it all in. And now they match. And this was in the Younique Brow Wiz in the shade Dark. I'm going to go in with Younique Brow Gel, also in the shade Dark. And this just holds your eyebrow in place. And it's also waterproof, so if it rains, you won't be running. And this just holds all of your hairs in place. Obviously, I don't have a lot. I don't have as many hairs as what it looks like up here for my eyebrows. So this just holds what I have in place and doesn't let it go flying up. Because I do need to trim them. They're pretty long right now. Next, I am going to use the Anastasia brow highlighter pen, and this is in the shade Matte Shell. And this just erase, well, I didn't mess up any here, but if it did, it would just erase any mix-ups that I might have had. But this also just highlights my brow and makes it more pronounced. So just right underneath your brow. Then I'm going to take a buffer brush and buff that out. And just pull it down just a little bit. Not all the way into your eyeshadow, but you also just don't want it straight across. You want it to look natural. So just buff it out and kind of pull it down. There you go. Next, I'm going to use the 3D fiber lashes to give that false lash look. This is definitely, I prefer this over false lashes. False lashes and I do not get along. So the first steps, or actually the steps are gel fibers, gel, and repeat as many times as you want, but be sure that your last coat of gel is really good and really thick. That way you have zero fallout throughout the day. Because if you don't, you'll have tons of fallout. It'll get in your eye, it'll hurt, and then you wish you never bought it, and you will love it. So gel fibers, gel, and a really good coat of gel on your last application. So here we go. And I go up, and then I also bring it back down and put some on the top of my lashes. And with the 3D Fiber Plush Lashes, you don't have to use a favorite mascara of your own in the first step like with the old formula. This has the Uplift Eye Serum in it, and it makes them, I don't know, just something you don't have to have it. So here's the fibers, and I just do a flicking motion to get those fibers on the bottom of my lashes and on the top of them. And with just one coat, I'm sure you can tell a huge difference already. I typically do 2 coats, or 2 steps of gel fiber gel before I do my final one. And I do it on the top and on the bottom because we did put fibers on the top, so that will help them stay in place as well. So just flick from top to bottom. And this will be my last coat, so I'll be sure that I put a last coat really good. And you can do as many steps as you want. I know some ladies that put 7 on there, and my gosh, their lashes are magnificent. So top and bottom. And bottom. nice coat of fibers. And if you do have rose water or uplift eye serum and you have the fiber lashes and your gel starts to get dry, starts to dry out, and you see all the fibers that you have left and you think, oh my gosh, I have so many fibers and my gel is already gone or it's drying up, you can drop 1 drop of your uplift eye serum or 1 pump of your rose water down into your gel tube, and then just pump your wand up and down in it, and it will freshen it back up to new. So that's a handy little tip. And the same for your cream eyeshadows. If you don't get the lid put on good, they can dry out, and you can use the uplift or rose water in those as well. I got a little dab mascara up here. Just flick it away. I'm just dusting off some fallout. It happens. Now I am going to line my waterline with Younique's Perfect eyeliner in, well, it's black, but the shade is called Perfect. I do this before I put on my foundation or concealer, that way I don't mess it up after I put it on. I am going to use the Younique's Liquid Mineral Touch Foundation in the shade Taffeta. It is good for light to medium skin tones, lighter in the winter. Just hands well is what I meant by medium. Just hands well in the summertime. It is the shade Above Velour. And I'm going to use the blusher brush by Younique to apply this with. And all it takes is 5 drops on your brush. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Thought I did 5. Nope. Now we got 5. And just dab it on your cheeks and buff it in. There you go. And the liquid alone gives phenomenal coverage. You don't need powder, but I'm just one of those girls that just needs that little bit of extra, and I know that there's more than just me out there. You just can't break old habits. So I am going in with the Younique pressed powder in the shade Taffeta as well, and I am using the powder puff brush. And see, you can't hardly see any of my blemishes that I started out with. I'm going in next with the Skin Perfecting Concealer by Younique in the shade Organza. This is a much lighter, this is 2 shades lighter than Taffeta. And I use a much lighter shade because I like that highlighted look through this area. And what I do here is I just make a V with the concealer, because this will be the direction that I buff out the concealer to be in. And so instead of a foundation for concealer, I use Younique's foundation brush instead of using it for my foundation. I find with the texture of the bristles, it tends to make my oily skin oilier, but it is a fabulous concealer brush. And I use their concealer brush for my cream shadows that are darker, and use the cream shadow brush for my lighter cream shadows. So I'm just going to start buffing this out, and I'm going to bring this all the way up and then down, and you will be able to see the V here. And you can see the V now. And I won't leave it so harsh looking. I'll go in with powder next to set it. And just drag that up to my temple and down by my nose. Next I'm going in with the shade, with the powder foundation, or the powder foundation in the shade Scarlet. This is the lightest shade that Younique has, and it is for very light skin tones, pink undertones, or anyone who doesn't tan very well. So I just buff this same motion that I put the concealer on with the foundation brush, and it just gives that highlighted look underneath your eyes. That's how you get the highlighted look under your eyes, or how I like to do it. Okay. Next I'm going to go back with the black eyeliner in the shade Perfect and line my lower lash. And I don't bring this all the way to the corner, just a little bit before I leave this spot blank, because I don't want such dark hooded eyes. And then I'm going to go back to palette 3, and I'm going to go in with the shade Cheeky, and I'm going to buff it out, because I don't like a pencil lift for my liner under there. To me it just looks too harsh, and if you buff it out with a eyeshadow, it doesn't look quite as harsh. And then after that, I'm actually going back to palette 1 into the shade Cheeky, and I'm going to buff out that chipper, not Cheeky. I'm going to buff the Cheeky out with the chipper, which is the light brown. I'm going back to palette 3 again, and I'm going to use the shade Smitten which is a silvery gray color. And I'm going to pop that right in the corner, just to keep that eye open. Or to not make it look as hooded and dark, and gives you a little bit of shimmer in the corner. And then just clean it up under my eye. And then next I am going to go in with the shade Sweet by Younique and buff that onto my cheeks. Next, I'm going to finish that off with Becca's Champagne Pop Highlight. This is right now my favorite highlighter. Jaclyn Hill is my favorite YouTuber ever, and it thrills me to no end to be able to use this. I love it. It looks great with any look, any skin tone. You could just use this instead of blush. I love it. So just right on the apples on my cheek, and it takes that harshness away and gives a pretty shimmer. This is limited edition, so if you have been debating it, I would go get it. And then some in my center of my forehead and down my nose, above my cupid's bow, and underneath my lip. Then for my lips, I am going to line them with Younique's lip liner in the shade Pompous, which is a beautiful color. I actually lost this. I have no idea where it went, and I had to replace it because I loved it so much. And I am going to go over my lips with my foundation. Doing so just helps it last longer. It's like a primer for your lips, just helps it stay on longer. Then I am going to fill in my lip with Younique's lip liner in the shade Chipper, which is a brighter pink. And then I'm actually going to go in with Younique's. It's an eyeliner, but it is a brown, and I use it on my lips more than I ever do my eyes because I'm not a brown person for my eyes. So this is Prim by Younique, and I'm going to just put this in the corners. Just gives an ombre look and adds depth to your lips. And I went out too much on right there. So I am now going to top all this off with Younique's shade in Upper Class. I'd recently got this lipstick. It is a beautiful neutral color if you wanting just a little bit darker lip. It's a beautiful neutral. It's Upper Class, and I absolutely love it. And with the darker in your corners, you want the dark to stay in your corner, so always start with the center and go out. And concealer's brush is good for touch-ups around the lips. And then I'm going to go in with Younique lip gloss in the shade Loveable, and I'm just going to put this right in the center of my lips. If you put lip gloss just in the center of your lips, it gives them that fuller, more pouty look, and not much, just a little bit. this is the finished look. I hope that y'all like it, and yeah, I may do another look, I'm not real sure yet, but I really love the purples for New Year's Eve. I think they're really pretty. I may do a gold and black one, I'm not sure yet, but if I do, I'll do it tomorrow because New Year's is the very next day. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again soon. Bye. So my battery just totally died. As I was saying, I hope that you enjoyed this look. I was very pleased with how it came out, even though I didn't have any idea what I was going to come up with in the end. And if I don't see you in another video before New Year's in 2016, I hope everyone has a fabulous New Year's. And thank you for watching.